I told you so. All right? And I know our audience, like they know. They get it, right? They see it, what's going on. But the end game, this is going to get ugly. Like when you have, I ask people all the time, I said, do you know how many electric cars are out on the road in America? What percentage make up the population of vehicles on the road are those electric smart cars or whatever you want to call them? It's like 1.8%.
Right.
So we're bowing down, we're caving, like Ford, Chevy, GM, all of them. They're making a smart car now, right? And it drives me up the freaking wall when I'm in a rental car, and I'm in one of those big SUVs in some town, and I go to an intersection and hit the red light, and it just feels like it cuts off.
Right.
Like I like that drives, because I'm afraid I'm gonna call on the accelerator, and it ain't gonna happen.
Exactly.
I'll be sitting there in traffic. I get paranoid. When they did the Green New Deal, when they came out with this concept, I was like, this is something that a fifth grader would draw up with a crayon.
Mm-hmm. AOC did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, nobody's going to take this seriously. And now we got a $4 trillion infrastructure bill that they're pushing through. Right. That is built largely off of the concepts of the Green New Deal.
Right.
How long before we crash this whole thing? And it's just, and in light of that, is there any hope of anything we can do to turn this trend?
Yeah, I think the problem I see is that we have an administration that's going to be here for 3 more years. Even if he's removed as president as being incompetent, even if Kamala Harris is next in line, we're going to control the House and Senate next November. I'm 100% confident after seeing the current election results. But I think at the end of the day, we've got a drunk driver at the wheel full of a bunch of monkeys in the back seat pulling his strings. We have nothing to do except figure out how to batten down the hatches because we're in a tornado. We're going to get tumbled. Yeah. The downside of this is the majority of Americans are going to suffer tremendously because of this administration. The economy, I think we're in massive stagflation. I think we're headed to incredibly high inflation like the 1970s, followed by just flat or no growth. Unemployment's coming. You're looking at foreclosure rates of 25, 30%. The data I pulled up yesterday says we're looking at 1.8 million homes are set up for foreclosure. Nobody's talking about it. Because why? Everybody has been sitting here on a 13-year bull run in the U.S. I talked to 45-year-old dentists who've not had a loss. Why? For 13, 14 years. They've never seen a downturn. So just because you haven't had a tornado doesn't mean you don't need a tornado shelter.
Yeah, and like I remember well 2008, 2009, and that period of time, is boom, and then it busted. And I was in the manufacturing world. I was working for a Fortune 300 company, and I can remember just dealing across the board with all of these different companies out there, and they were just tanking. And the housing, the foreclosures, it was just insane. Everybody was losing everything. But now you're right. Like 13, 14 years have gone by now.
Correct.
And we have such a short memory. And this is going to be far worse than that.
I think it's going to be deep. The problem is that was created off a housing bubble, which again was led by the Democrats wanting to give everybody a house. This one is really deep because we've kind of played every ace in the hole. When you go to almost zero interest rates, when you go to $4 trillion in stimulus, when you allow inflation to go rampant, when you allow energy prices to go through the roof, what's the stopping point? The stopping point is a crash. And then once you knock, it's kind of like cleaning out your garage. You start with the garage, you take everything out, it's a disaster, and you only put back what works. We're headed to that in the next 24 months. We're going to take everything out that didn't work. Unless you're an idiot in the last 24 to 36 months, you made 30% on your return in the stock market. Everybody's bragging, I made 33%. I'm like, I'm sorry, how'd you do so bad? It was one of those deals where if every idiot can make 30% in the stock market, then the stock market doesn't have an arbitrage. It's a false market. My bull elephants, my deepest, richest clients started getting out of the stock market a year ago. They've been dumping real estate the last 12 months. They're moving to hard commodities because they believe at the end of the day, you got to wipe your butt and fill your car. So it's about common staple goods with the consumer right now. And they're really, really nervous. The wealthy people are really nervous. Not about taxes. They'll maneuver around that and do it legally. Yeah. What they're worried about is the fundamentals of the economy are falling apart. Oil and gas is going to do tremendously well. I tell everybody, I'm going to have to get a bunch of therapy money together. I'm going to feel so guilty with all the big checks I put in the bank, but I'll get over it. Because the fact is, what this administration has done is taken Trump's money train and derailed it, not just knocked it off the tracks. They put it in the ditch, they buried it, and now they're standing on top screaming, don't touch it or you're a racist. That's what they're doing.